The Lord be with you, and a warm welcome to you as always from all of us here at Powers Court with Kilbride. Well, just take a look at what's happening around me at the present time in this particular spot in the garden. You'll notice that the leaves on our tree at the moment are turning a beautiful colour, and an awful lot of them indeed are lying around my feet. Welcome to the autumn. There's a distinct touch of cold in the air these days. I'm delighted to join you again this week, just for a very short reflection and a time of prayer together, and of course hearing God's holy word. Most recently, I came upon somebody who was speaking about the spiritual and reminded me that anybody who is involved in following the Christ, or who believes in the spiritual, we really need to continuously tap in to source. And so that's what we do now. We pause for just a moment to acknowledge Christ's presence with us and to bring to him what lies upon our hearts this day.
John said to him, "Teacher, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him, because he was not following us." But Jesus said, "Do not stop him, for no one who does a deed of power in my name will be able soon afterwards to speak evil of me. Whoever is not against us is for us. For truly, I tell you, whoever gives you a cup of water to drink, because you bear the name of Christ, will by no means lose the reward."
If the wind blows at all, and I wish you could see this, there's leaves falling all around me here like confetti at the moment. If the wind blows the branches of the trees, they're just ready to drop. And already I've noticed squirrels in the garden. They have a fantastic knack of digging little potholes in the grass, placing the chestnuts in, covering them over, and remembering, of course, where they put them in the first place. Speaking of nature, the penguins of Phillip Island that we witnessed when we were abroad are unlike anything I have ever seen in my life, nor I suspect will ever see again, unless we return to that spot. Along the coastline of Phillip Island, every evening, as soon as the sun has set, I might have mentioned this before, over 1,000 penguins come in different little groups, in 3 specific places within the one area of shoreline. And it is customary for people like ourselves, like our family, to go, and there are concrete steps made into the coastline. And you go and you sit. You could be sitting there for over an hour. You dress really warmly because as the sun goes down, it becomes quite chilly. And there are very tall single lights placed along the beach. And these are the only lights in the darkness after the sun has set. On entering the penguin sanctuary, or the place for the penguin parade, we walk along a very broad boardwalk that leads down to the beginning of the coast. And underneath this boardwalk and all around it, there are what appear to be just little tufts of grass and little hillocks, but actually what they are nests, they're roosts, if you like, for the penguins. And they span a huge area of ground, acres of it. And so every evening when these penguins come in complete darkness except for the lights on the beach, they go underneath the bridges of the boardwalk and they stand in the darkness and they listen to hear, in particular at this time of year, the voice of their chicks, and they go back to their individual nests. And this could take some of them 10 or 15 minutes to actually get there. If they can find them at all, that's the marvel, I think. In the darkness, there are so many of these nests. Well, what I wanted to tell you about today, it's quite comical because penguins, as you know, are comical to watch anyway. They're as fleet as an arrow under the water, but on land they're kind of a little cumbersome and very, very cute. And these particular penguins, they're called little penguins. They're only, maybe 6 inches high, and they come out of the water in groups. As I mentioned, there's over 1,000 of them in general at night. There are 3 points and there are 3 wardens that actually take account, because some of these penguins stay at sea for 5 days. How they manage it, I really don't know. But watching them coming in is quite amusing, because they'll come in a group of maybe 5 or 6 or a group of 10. They'll come running out of the waves and then they'll stop dead, and you'll see them and they're kind of very cautious, very shy little creatures, having a look around. They know at this stage full well that behind the cloak of darkness there are hundreds of people silently sitting watching. There's not a camera allowed in sight because the flashes will really upset them and disturb them. And so they come out and they stop dead, very cautiously waiting to see is the way clear. Ahead of them, there's a whole load of smaller seagulls, not the big blackbacks or the big gulls we have here, the smaller little lads we have here with the sort of eyebrow look about them. And they're all kind of hanging around. They're hanging around on the beach because they're looking for food that people might bring while they're waiting for the parade, if they bring a picnic. But they're also looking to see what's going on with the penguins. They're not a threat to them. For example, for a good 10 minutes, we watched one single little penguin coming out of the water and stopping dead, and really unsure of himself. And the next thing, one single little seagull, who wasn't that much bigger than the penguin, came running at him, and the little penguin turned and shot back into the ocean again. And this happened 3 or 4 times. He'd come out on his own, and you could almost feel the crowd of all of us in the darkness going, "Go on, just walk through them, you'll be grand." But they don't. They wait and they disappear into the waves again. And then a crowd of about 8 penguins came out, and we could see our friend down the other end running up the beach at the waterline and just joining them. And lo and behold, he was the one, because we watched him closely, who led the group through the seagulls that had been chasing him. But there was great safety in numbers. In our readings today, particularly in our gospel reading, Jesus is asking the disciples yet again, will you stop worrying about what anybody else is doing? They've come to him and they've said, there's a woman over there and she's casting out demons in your name. We should be stopping her. Jesus says, no, anybody who acts in my name will eventually be transformed by me. Stop looking at what anybody else is doing in my name and just get on with each other. We're all different, I understand that even today, but just get along with each other. If we are to be the body of Christ, we need each other. And our little friends on Phillip Island are an excellent example of this. You know, if you come out and you are faced by uncertainty and the unknown in the darkness and you're on your own, the slightest disturbance is going to actually unsettle you, and it might take you an awful lot longer to follow the Christ or to resolve the issue. But if you draw together into your community of faith, if you draw together with a whole and open heart, you might find yourself leading that very community or that smaller group past the darkness and what seems to be the threat to you at this particular time. Maybe today, to the sound of that beautiful robin over to my left, maybe today we can actually think and give thanks to God, for starters, for the blessing of that group of people who are around us and support us in our journey of faith. It could be your congregation in church, it could be a smaller number, 6 or 7 or 3 or 4, but they're more than just you. They are the people who carry you when you are uncertain, and they're the people who sometimes drive you forward to lead the pack at times when your footing is unsure. So today, as Jesus says, let us all accept each other for who we are and get on as the family of Christ, and give thanks to God for those, and identify them now if you can in your own hearts and minds. Who are the people in your life that assist you in your journey of faith, that are of like mind, that are of the same tribe, if you like, as you are? Give thanks to God for them now and draw close to them in thanksgiving and gratitude for all that they do in your life.